slightly sticky.
Sequin gory. Zombie.
Everywhere you fucking look, there are zombies.
Lesbian.
Muff blood.
So much fun. Blood squirting. Great fun.
A lot of fun.
Bit of a roller coaster.
Well, at least none of the zombies have two heads.
Learning curve.
I love this job. It was impressive.
The idea is crazy, you know. I mean, it's a zombie lesbian film, you know. There's a mixture of erotica and fucking madness.
Which was then titled My Girlfriend Ate My Pussy, literally.
Thought it was the greatest project I'd ever heard of and knew that I just had to be part of it.
I'm not too sure how you'll feel about this, Helen. It's a film about lesbians. And I said, yeah, tell me more.
I wanted to make a film for a festival called Trashorama Film Festival, which, as the name suggests, was meant to be trashy, hence zombie. Musical, just because it seemed like a very funny twist. And I personally like zombie films which are comedic. Lesbian, because I think there are plenty of films out there with heterosexual relationships.
I found I couldn't say to people I was doing a zombie and lesbian musical. I used to just say I'm doing a musical about zombies. The director was very kind in sort of giving us every chance to say, this is not me. I don't do zombie and lesbian very well. But in fact, no, why wouldn't you?
We didn't even actually really think seriously about approaching any businesses for money, because we actually didn't think many businesses would be game enough to have their name attached to a film like this, which is pretty outrageous. And we're very surprised at how enthusiastic Remax were.
Remax Properties is sponsoring $2,500 for this.
Even the fact that there's a derogatory remark about real estate agents, they loved it.
They were so keen, to the point of having one of their consultants come along and played a very small part in the film.
It is very liberating not having funding from a funding body. You know, we basically could do what we wanted. Our own artistic integrity, how we put the film together completely. Of course, the other side is lack of funding means, you know, you can't pay people. You know, we didn't probably have as long to shoot things as we would have liked.
That was hard because we had no lights at all. Limited amount of time and equipment to try and make it even, made it difficult.
I think we went in with the philosophy that those people who were involved are going to get something out of it. We've got a profit-sharing model. Out of this exploit is going to come, you know...
Great riches.
Yeah, not necessarily great riches, but I think a feeling in the community around us that, you know, we can put something back.
And people feel valued for the fantastic work that everybody did on it.
So the character I play is Billy, and she lives with her girlfriend Dana.
Dana. Her name was Dana. She was hot.
During the middle of, I guess, a zombie crisis in their neighbourhood.
She's the pants wearer in the house.
And they're very much in love.
They do everything together, very domestic.
They're not really worried about the zombie times that are happening.
From there, everything just went out of control.
Dana gets bitten by a zombie and it's devastating.
Last thing I remember, he came and attacked me and took a big chunk here in my neck.
But Billy still believes that her and Dana's relationship is so strong that it can just last through the illness of becoming a zombie.
Oh, fuck.
It's a very interesting journey that her character takes, from being very much in love to having a disaster to some 80s dance moves to then turning into a zombie and getting her muff eaten.
I love musicals. I love the silliness of people breaking into song and dance in the middle of an ordinary scene. The fact that there is such a strong musical theatre community in Hobart. I knew before I wrote it that there would be a cast for it. A friend, Lorraine, got roped in to help with choreographing it, particularly the final number, Zombie Pride, which we wanted to be quite a big showy number, probably inspired by the headdresses, which I had purchased at an amazing garage sale.
They just kind of like, it was very windy, and so these giant headdresses would often fall off or blow over or knock us over. Feathers kept getting stuck on the blood as well because the wind would blow them into the gore that was all over people.
The feel for that number, choreography-wise, was musical films where you've got a chorus line, lots of leggy ladies, patterns. We also had to make it simple because a lot of our cast were probably stronger singers and actors and weren't professional dancers.
The biggest challenge for me was entering the world of musical theatre. Beck wrote these 4 songs and came in and with the lyrics and the melodies and sang them to me, and so then I went through and harmonised those, and I enlisted Craig Wood. We're very lucky to have him as musical director.
There were a lot of rehearsals for singing, and the music was being written as we were practicing, so just when I thought I had something under control,
Change.
We had to go into the studio first and record the vocal parts for the songs at least, which were time synced to a temp track. So then the singers could go off and learn that.
I loved the fact that we learned something and we got to go into a real recording studio
yes, that
and
was
record properly and then hear it back, and then hear the mixing and what they do with it all.
Rather than play it as sort of hip, new music theatre, is to do it to something that was a bit referential and a bit old-fashioned, so the tension between the fact that zombies were singing this sort of, you know, borderline cheesy music was where a lot of the humour would come from.
We are zombies, not living and not dead.
Hearing that on the CD for the first time, the music after it had been recorded, was really exciting.
Zombies is a lot of fun.
I had to get out of bed at 6 o'clock or something. Actually, I slept in and was late to my makeup call.
We set up and then it just was a constant flow of extras and actors coming through. How many do you think we did? 30.
It was panic stations.
I really liked being made up by the makeup artists because they were so beautiful.
Some really amazing skills and obscure talents.
Yeah, being wet a lot of the time with the gore, that was kind of uncomfortable.
I think we were looking for the freshly dead look, recently deceased, with some added gore, of course.
And watching them get excited about doing things like doing bum makeup.
I love this job. Looked on the internet to see who, who was out there who'd done similar things, what they'd done, how they'd done it, especially how they'd done it so cheaply. There was the eyeball scene. We used a Roland deodorant ball, painted on the fine veins in blue and red. The pupil or the iris is actually just a transfer.
Stevie's so good, he let me pretty much just...
And action! Action!
Really get into him. Leave it in there this time.
Yeah, leave. Action!
Took him straight to the hospital after that scene, and I just thought that was amazing that he spent a few hours there and then came back to do his other scenes in the evening.
I just find the whole process of filming really interesting. Quite different to the theatre, where the actor's probably the main person when you go to see a play. Certainly when you're filming, the actor's just a piece of furniture that gets moved around.
It was very different to any sort of performing I'd done before. And the good thing, you could have more than one take, which you don't get on stage.
I love the process. I love it, even sitting back and just watching.
We've also drawn on the expertise that is in Tasmania, that there are plenty of young people out there who want to make films for the sake of making film.
I loved with this particular shoot all these young people who were there, all giving of everything that they had in terms of time and knowledge and equipment and whatever, and everyone doing it so willingly and happily.
It's just a lot of fun doing it, and it was a good challenge.
Get everybody learning at the same time, improving their craft and their skills, and that's just a lovely process to watch.
It was just a really good team, and everyone was working towards making a really great film. It was just a lot of fun.
It became, I guess, their film.
And there was these cute little, they were little, kind of rough-edged little kids. They had a lot of energy, and they were really interested in what was going on, and seeing all these monsters and crazy people and makeup artists and cameras. Anyone gets excited when they see that. And next thing you know, I think they got asked, do you guys want to be little zombies in the street? And they were like, yeah, and they were just crazy and eating all the jelly beans. And then by the end of it, I think one of them almost acted like the director and sat her chair right there in front of everyone, just like, okay, here I am. And I think she was actually in some of the shots, but had to be told to move.
Cars just come round to look what we're doing. Wow.
The muff scene.
I read it in the script and just didn't obviously connect it with, oh, that's there, to that's something I will actually have to do in front of people.
I suppose it was thought out, but you couldn't predict what was going to happen, so it was just winging it. And Rose was a very obliging muff eater, I think. I've never seen a muff eater eat so much muff in my whole entire life.
It was really juicy.
She just lapped it up.
It was okay, because I was wearing 2 pairs of underpants, so there was no...
It reminded me of my mum's tiramisu.
It's made from 3 ingredients: sorbitol, gelatin and glycerin.
And this amazing trifle my grandma makes.
The gelatin really gives it a very skin-like, lifelike appearance.
I mean, my grandma doesn't make one with hairs in it. This one had hairs. I remember having hairs in my teeth.
You can punch real human hair into it, so this is real human hair.
I'd certainly never seen a fake muff before.
Not one, there were so many to choose from.
I remember this take I was eating, it was like action, just getting right into it. In the corner of my eye, I saw Rebecca, who's the director, just watching the little monitor going, and then I had to stop and I spat out all the blood all over Anna, poor darling. Beck's pregnant, and anything like that was just making her gag.
I've had to sort of do love scenes on stage before, but because it's so far away, you can sort of just cover it with a sheet and move around a bit and it looks like you're doing whatever. But so this was quite a lot more intimate than I was perhaps used to. I had these 2 with very technically sticking bits of tape on and working out and pumping blood through to see how it would best work. So that was kind of interesting. I got used to it very quickly. So
here we are at Organ Throwing Championships. It's toss number 2.
I don't know that I've come across a cupcake since then.
Yeah.
Yes, cupcakes have taken on a new meaning in my world.
I don't think I'll ever look at cupcakes the same way.
I haven't eaten a cupcake since.
Delicious.
But I always now look for the little kind of...
Doing that close up with a little ting.
I can't believe your chickens ate them in the end.
But I do go for cupcakes. Even those little miniature ones, I'm just like, cupcake.
Zombies and crime. Zombies and crime. Zombies and crime.
Very ambitious of Rogan and Rebecca to get off the ground, and it's been a magnificent coming together of various talented people, a big cast, great special effects, mentoring, all these people who've come together for it. It's been absolutely wonderful experience.
I just look forward to doing another zombie or, another zombie musical.
All that filming and all that music condensed into 15 minutes or whatever, I think it's going to be mind-blowing.
Letting them know that this is not just a film, it's real.
No, that day we filmed there were a lot about, but I haven't
Yes.
seen any since.
Do you know what? I've met 2. I was walking down an alley one night on the way to the Brisbane.
I found them quite agreeable. I don't know why there's such a zombie stigma, really.
It was just kind of these dark silhouettes, and I don't know, something made me go in there because I thought, well, I've done a zombie film. What else could happen? You can never tell who's a zombie. Don't judge people.
Hopefully there will be more soon. I think that's what Hobart lacks.